What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be working on the ES Sedan a little bit more. Not too specific on what we're doing in today's video. We're just going to go along, and whatever I need to get done, we're just going to do it. I'm about to take off in a little bit here to go ship out my valve train for my K20a2 head so we can get the cylinder head to the machine shop. And then I need to go to Home Depot to go get a barb fitting to tap into my RBC intake manifold so we can run the vacuum line for the brake booster. I also need to pull the seats out of the car so I can take that to the storage and stuff it into the other sedan, because we do have blue seats to replace this one. And while I'm in the storage, I need to pick up the header so we can put it onto the car as well too, and find the wheel-width box so we can get the red hose that is brake fluid compatible so we can finish up our clutch system. I also do have a K20a2 OEM chain that's going in the box, and ARP head studs also going in this box. So first thing is first, let's take those seats out of the car. All right, so we have all the Super Tech stuff packed up and ready to ship out. All right, guys, package is shipped, and we also picked up this guy as well too. Try my best to not scratch the paint because this car is fresh. This is gonna snap. Oh my goodness, I'm so stoked that this freaking reservoir line is not red, bro. It's black. For right now, I'm just gonna use an RSX shifter box. I was gonna order the Buddy Club one because it's black and it's a short shifter built in as well too. But for right now, just to save cost, I'm gonna use this RSX stock shifter box, and probably just need to get a base plate. I already have the shift cables at home, and I don't think I'll need those bushings. I don't know. But we'll take this as well. On the EF Sedan, I wasn't entirely sure what shifter box I wanted to run. I did want to try the hybrid one, but I feel like I might have to cut too much of my center console. The AcuD shifter, I wanted to try that because I heard good things about it. But for right now, we'll just rock the OEM one until we figure out what it is that we actually want to run. This is my stock K24 header. This header was made for the wagon, and it is made to clear the drive shaft and transfer case. You can see I modified it right there on the top. I shortened it down, made a new downpipe. So we'll take this. I did throw the seats inside the car. This one is kind of bolted up, and I sat in it earlier, and man, this feels right at home, dude. I know this is not the wagon because wagon has S2000 cluster and the dashboard interior is gray. This one has the JDM cluster and black interior. I can't wait to start mobbing this car, dude. I did test fit the roll bar in the sedan, and it actually does fit. So I might end up using this for the blue car once we finish it up entirely. But daydreaming in your dream car, one of the best feelings. I don't know why I have 3 PRB intake manifolds, but I need the injectors from it as well too. So with the engine on the low setting, the K20a2 does have a oil cooler, which is attached right there, and with the filter, it positions right in front of the subframe. So if you look, it's literally right in front. I'm hoping I have space to pull the filter out, because I don't remember if the wagon has the oil cooler. I believe I blocked it off. I'm not entirely sure, but I can't put my oil filter like cup on the end of it, but this filter does have like a hex on the end, so I'm hoping that I'm able to twist it with that, because I do need to change this out. Okay, we can turn it. Okay, that works. I do have an oil filter. thought I had an oil filter. Oh yeah, I do. OEM oil filter. There should be no oil in here, I don't think. Okay, well, kind of. And without even me noticing it, the filter came off, no problems between the subframe. So that's good. Get a little nice snug. Yes, sir. 12 mil. Exhaust manifold gasket. The rusted side is out. Clean side towards the block. Hardware kind of scattered all over here. I got two inside of here because this was rusted. Another rusted bolt. That's cuatro. And numero cinco, but this one looks like it's stripped. No bueno. So it's nice to have extra 5. I think it's 5. Since the nut came off with the stud, I'm gonna have to like put it in here beforehand, so that way the gasket doesn't like just fall right through. I'm pretty sure I could have left the downpipe on, because I believe I remember taking it out from the top in the wagon, but let's just simplify my life a little bit and just take it off. I'm gonna put the header shield on just for social media purposes. All right, now let's do the downpipe. Got the downpipe installed, and like I said, this was made to clear the transfer case and the drive shaft. When the wagon was all motor all-wheel drive, this is the header I made for it. I do need to go get a factory wideband. I'll get that when I go back to the parts store, and then probably plug that one off. So let me explain to you guys why I am currently running this downpipe. I'm sure I explained this before. I'm using this header to build the exhaust system off of, and then when I put the turbo kit and downpipe back on, I'll fabricate a downpipe to fit the exhaust system. The reason for that is because this header will place the flange for the exhaust system, and then I'll build a downpipe to that, and then if I need to switch back to all motor for whatever reason, I can put this header back on and it'll line back up. When I do build the exhaust system, I'm going to configure it in front wheel drive setup, because I already have the full 3-inch in the backyard. And when I do need to make the exhaust system again, we'll go off the downpipe, which already has the flange set into place, and then the header will also fit the new exhaust system second time around. So this fitting right here, I don't have any tap for it, and I do have an idea on how I'm gonna go about doing it. I'm probably not going to show it to you guys because it's super ghetto. The right way is to get the right drill and tap for this thread and tap it correctly. Okay, so I already kind of did some test passes to know how I'm going to do it on here. So I was going to put the fitting like right here somewhere, but after looking inside, this whole entire thing is a chunk of aluminum, so that means I would have to drill down almost 1.25 inches just to get to an opening on the inside of the intake manifold. But right here, this little curve right in the center of that is actually a passage that goes all the way into the intake manifold. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I'm going to show you guys. You guys see that little passage right there? I'm gonna try to shoot for that. If I miss it, I got a welding machine. So right now I'm gonna go ahead and try to get this on here, and then we'll get the manifold into the engine. Straight through. I mean, it's nothing special. All I did was take the brass and just kind of drill the hole just about the same outside diameter of this fitting, and I just forced it and threaded it in, and it didn't mess up the thread at all, so that's good. So now the manifold is threaded. I could Teflon this and secure it into place, or I could just put it in directly like this and it should not leak. Now we do the injectors, which I have right here. Because we're going all motor right now, we don't need to put the aftermarket injectors in just yet. So these stock injectors are going to work perfectly. In the Honda K Manager, you can just select like a stock TSX, stock Honda Accord, stock RSX, load that up, and it's already like programmed for the stock injectors. All the dead times are for the stock injectors. So take these off, switch it over to the AEM fuel rail. Alrighty, intake manifold ready to go in the car. Last thing we need to do before intake manifold goes on is a B series map sensor. I'm going to be running a factory map sensor for now. I do have an Omni 4-bar, but like I said, that's all going to be installed once we turbo the car. So let me find my OE map sensor. Got an OE map sensor right here on this BDL throttle body. Haven't seen one of these in a while. Also need an O-ring. Need an O-ring for this motorcycle. These guys. Now I was supposed to paint this wrinkle black because I want to murder the engine bay as far as the accessory goes, but I don't have any more wrinkle black in the can, and it is kind of cold right now, and all this is going to come out again anyway. So I'm okay with the silver. At least it looks clean, so I'm just going to leave it be for right now. The cool thing about the K20 is that if I wanted to paint the manifold after everything's all said and done, I can take this manifold off without draining the cooling system because it is separated from the upper housing. So this right here is IAT sensor. This one's map sensor, ultra long. This one here, TPS sensor. So we have the intake manifold fully installed. There's a few more things I need to do around here, like I'm gonna have to cap this off for right now because we're not gonna be running the vacuum line just yet to the booster, since we're gonna be changing the master and booster out later along with the prop valve once I source a 4040, and we don't really need all that to turn the car on anyways. I do need to get a block off plug for this right here. This is for the K series map sensor, and like I mentioned before, I'm using the B series down low because we already have the port there, and also because I don't want the map sensor here because we are really close with the RBC to the hood. So I'm gonna have to get that block off for this guy here, and I do need to block off this coolant port down there. This thing is almost ready. Conversion harness, hopefully that comes in soon, and then program the ECU, fluid in the long block itself, and it should be ready to fire over. So right now we need to do the clutch line for the master to the reservoir right here. I'll tell you what, it is not easy to get to the clutch master upside down behind the dashboard. I'm trying to get the flashlight in here. Can you guys see it? It's right there. I could squeeze my hand in there. I literally just took off the hose right here, and this is a fuel line hose that the parts store people told me will work with brake lines, and after further research, this is gonna burst over time. So this right here came out of the Willwood kit, and I didn't use it for the wagon because the wagon already has its own line in there. I'm gonna use this for my brake fluid line from the reservoir. So right now I'm just gonna go ahead and snake this all back in underneath the dashboard, feed it through the firewall, and then we'll cut it to length. So this line right now is currently pulled all the way out. I am gonna push it back in just a little bit so we can have a little extra length. The reservoir is clocked, so the barb is facing the booster, and all I had to do is modify the bracket a little bit to make that work. I'm also going to use a worm clamp. You don't want to tighten it too tight because then you could collapse the plastic nipple on the reservoir. I'm just tightening it enough to where I can see the bulge on the hose. There is a nipple on the barb as well too, so that's going to help keep it tight. So this thing is ready for bleeding, but I'm not going to do it today. But I'm super stoked. The clutch system is ready to rock and roll. So I installed one of the ground cable just because I already have it, and when I get the other ground cables, we'll have 3 more. So I cleared out the threads in here to make sure you know, we have a full connection to the chassis instead of scratching off the paint from the frame rail here. So I got this installed to the shift selector 10 mil, and that's kind of how I have it on all of my cars. I don't really have any more things to install here in the engine bay other than the miscellaneous stuff like I told you there. Here I also forgot there's a vacuum line that's supposed to go right there, and just like hardware for the coil packs and stuff. I gotta find all that. But one more thing I want to do is lower control arm bushing. So before I go over there, let me talk about this really quickly. So I was searching the internet, buying all of my like suspension stuff, and I didn't buy front lower control arms because I wasn't entirely sure which one I wanted to go with. I was going to go with some Rock Auto stuff, which I've used many and plenty times before, better replacements than the worn out OEM bushings. And then I was going to get PCI front lower control arms, but then I was like, I didn't want to be too stiff, like spherical everything on the car. And then I was going to go with blocks because I did order from blocks for Black Friday, but I guess I didn't put it into the cart. But for the price of blocks, I was like, I can get some Hard Race, which has same thing as Skunk 2 and blocks is hardened bushings, and I was also still debating between spherical or hardened bushings. So I was like, man, I'm kind of in a dilemma with it. It's been like 2 months now. I haven't really figured out what I'm going to do with the front low control arm. But then I was like, okay, well, you know, just to save a little bit of money for right now, just for right now, I'm still gonna buy control arms, just maybe later down the road. I've always done this in all of my cars. I did this in the wagon, the KRX, and my red all-wheel drive CRX. I pressed in energy suspension bushings into the OEM control arm, just gave it a nice coat of paint, and that worked perfectly all of these years. So I went through the boxes that the homie Isai gave me. These boxes right here, 2 energy suspension boxes, one for EGDC, one for EF. And after going through the boxes here, I actually do have the bushing set for the front lower control arm, which is this one right here. So I'm going to be cleaning up my OE arms because they're pretty gunked up. And then I'm going to attempt to pull these bushings out. They're cracked and brittle. You can see it right there. I'm going to pull these bushings off and just press in the energy ones in, just so we can have lower control arms for right now, so we can start working towards our front suspension in a different video, a different day. May as well just finish off the rest of this. Come on, all the way. All the way. Let's go. Guys, it is 45 degrees right now. And the temperature is just dropping as the day goes. I can't feel my fingers out here playing with freaking water. Got the lower control arms all nice and cleaned up. Probably gonna push the bushings out and then probably gonna give it a nice little coat of paint, and then we'll press the energy suspension in. So this is pretty straightforward, right? You find a socket, preferably impact socket, to the size of the bushing, and then you got to like prop it to make sure it doesn't move once you start using the hydraulic press. And you press it with safety precautions, like, you know, stay away because this thing could shoot and ricochet. Wear some safety goggles, and you'll hear that pop. which it already did, and then the bushing becomes loose in the housing of the LCA, and then you can press it the rest of the way. And that right there is the old bushing. I'm using a, what is this, 22mm socket, and now we got 4 more to go. But take note, this is a much bigger size as well. The center one, a 27, a little bit small, but still worked. Uno más. All 4 bushings pressed out. I don't know if you guys can see this, but this thing is sagging like way past the center. This is 30-plus-year-old LCA bushings. Guys, we have the lower control arm all nice and painted. It is fully dry, and I've already done one lower control arm just to find out the easiest way to do it, to explain it to you guys, although I've done this 1,000 times before. Now, this one right here on the inside of the LCA towards the subframe is a 3-piece bushing. You see the one on the inside, there's 2 on the outside, left and right, and then we have a spacer. This one right here, you can press it in by hand, so take the lubrication provided with the kit and lubricate the inside and then all of the bushing as well too. So I'm gonna do this one real quick. So simple enough, you can just go ahead and pop that on in here just like that. Lubricate the opposite side, and then go ahead and press this one in as well by hand, just like that. Lubricate the spacer like so, and then this also just presses right in. You can see bushing is pushed in by hand, right? This bushing right here is for the center. This one is where the suspension fork sits on, and this one you cannot press in by hand. I've tried to do it multiple times. I tried to use a hammer. Hammer will work, but if you hit it too hard, too much, you can tear apart this edge right here. And I found it easy to just use a press. You can use a bolt and nut system, kind of like one of those you can use for like rear trailing arms. And I'm gonna use my press for this because I found that it is much easier to use the press than to do all these other techniques. So same thing like this one here, lubricate the inside, the bushing, and the spacer, and then we'll use the press to press this all in. Very easy. So I'm gonna let it sit on the press a little bit and let the bushing settle, because earlier when I pressed the first one, I pressed it in, I took it off, and then the bushing just kind of slipped back out. So I'm letting it kind of settle in a little bit, and then we'll flip it. Bottomed out. And that is our new bushings installed into our used lower control arm. Krusty Krab pizza is the pizza. Dude, this thing is all torn up. Guys, lower control arm looking brand used as F, man. Look at this. Dude, this will do it. I really don't like the red though, I ain't gonna lie to you guys. I normally get the Pro thing, which are black, but you know what I'm saying? It came in a box that Isai gave me, man. Big shout out to the homie Isai for hooking it up with all these extra bushings he didn't use, and I made it work in my front lower control arm. So I'm gonna be rocking this for a little bit, and when I'm ready to purchase some nice front lower control arms, I'll do so later down the road. Man, this thing's looking fresh because of all that silver we left there. So I'm gonna go ahead and put these sucker away because we don't need it right now. I'm really not waiting for parts. I just got to make these purchases so we can complete the front end overhaul, and then we'll start installing everything pertaining to the front along with the 5-lug conversion. I'm gonna wrap up the video right here, guys. We did quite a lot, man. We did a lot of the little things that I was just gonna do off camera, but I just wanted to show you guys all those little things that we had to do to get this thing much more ready to turn on. Quick little recap: intake manifold installed. We have the barb for the brake booster line. We have the injectors, the harness. We did the line for the clutch setup. This is rated for brake fluid, so it's not going to deteriorate over time. We installed the stock header back here as well too. I'm gonna figure out the exhaust system later, but for the most part we have this all done. Before I do the exhaust system though, I do, like I mentioned before, was buy 2 more 6-ton jack stands, get this car up super high, clean the undercarriage, and then we'll build the exhaust system. Probably gonna do all that in one video, but I'm stoked because now we can get to that part at least, right? We did the lower control arm with new bushing just to get me by for right now, guys, and I'm stoked, man. I'm stoked. This thing is actually going quite a lot faster than I anticipated, but you know what I'm saying, when you slowly make progress every single day, you start chipping down that list of things to do. Looking at the red valve cover, it does flow really well with the blue engine bay, but we're gonna change that later. So before we cap out the video, we went to the P.O. box and we got this package right here from Amazon, and the name is kind of cut off, but it says something Sane Marketing. Let's go ahead and open this package. I did get a new cut on my hand and I don't know where it came from, so today I'm gonna take my advice, okay? I'm gonna cut away from myself and not towards myself. And actually, cutting with my left hand is just as dangerous as cutting towards myself because I'm right-handed. Oh my goodness. To keep you dry while you grind, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's from Adam, man. Big shout out to Adam. He got me a new 10x20 tarp. I kid you not. On my desktop, I literally have like 6 windows open with multiple browsers in it, and one entire window has like 4 Amazon tarps that I was like having a very hard time. I'm very indecisive, if you guys don't, I mean, I don't think you guys know that, but people who know me personally, I'm very indecisive, and I have like 4 windows open to like 4 different tarps to replace the torn up one right here in front of my driveway. So a big shout out to Adam. He literally sent one over here, and this is exactly what I needed. It's a 10x20. It's a 10 mil, but a heavy duty tarp to replace the one that's like fully torn up. The wind is only making it worse, and I've just been procrastinating on changing it. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, but shout out to Adam, man. Thank you so much for sending the new tarp. Definitely gonna change this here real soon. Maybe tomorrow, but I appreciate you, man. I appreciate anybody who support me and the channel, anybody who sent anything to the P.O. box. I truly love you guys, man. Thank you so much for this. We're gonna wrap it up for this video, guys. I'm super stoked that we made this much progress today, even though it didn't seem like much, but progress is better than no progress, right? So if you guys enjoyed this video, man, be sure to leave a thumbs up. And if you guys want to stick around and see more progress update on the EF Sedan, man, be sure to hit the subscribe button. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.